Hi everybody, Arlene here, and today we're going to be making these earrings right here with clusters, some medallion, and we're going to be making them on these rings right here. And I'm going to show you the rest of the stuff that you're going to need to get this project started. We're going to use these for the larger ring that you're seeing in the pictures when the video started, and we're going to be using thread. We're going to be using size 3 Aunt Lydia's crochet thread, size 3. So I'm going to see you in a moment, and I'm going to tell you the rest of the stuff that you're going to need. Okay guys, so we're going to continue finishing this medallion project, and what you're going to need is about a 3-inch ring. This is an adult woman's bracelet, and you could fit it on your arm. So this is more or less what you can use. If you find a different kind of ring, that's fine too, but a woman's bracelet would be fine. And for the small medallion, we're going to use the rings off of the Arizona bottle that I showed you previously. And we have here some Aunt Lydia's crochet thread. It's the number 3 Aunt Lydia's crochet thread. And I was also using this color here. This is the one that I wanted to show you, made with the larger ring, the bracelet. And you're going to need 2 ear wires and 2 jump rings, and probably a pair of pliers or something, some type of hardware, so that you can open up your jump ring. And I brought my little measuring tape over here because I wanted to show you the size of the ring. Let me move this out of the way. The size of the ring at its widest point is just a teeny weensy bit less than 3 inches. So I'm going to start with the small loop. I'm also using a D hook. If you want to make it a little smaller, you can use a C hook. So I want to show you, I'm going to start this over so I can show you how I started my magic loop. So this is your end here, and you want this end to be long enough to wrap around your finger twice. So this part of the thread is going into my hand, and I'm going to wrap this twice around. But I need this to be long enough to come inside my hand so I can hold it. And this part is going to be around my thumb, like this. And if you find some other way to do your magic loop that will be easier for you, by all means you can. So this is the slip stitch. Does not count as a first stitch. And this is the first single crochet right here. That's your first stitch. So we're going to do 12 of these single crochets inside the loop. So that's 2. And this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now, depending on how loose or how tight you crochet, you can also do 11 clusters if the medallion comes out too large for your smaller ring. So now we're going to slide our stitches over, and we're going to tug on your tail end right here. We're going to tug on this end, and whichever one of these strings right here move, that's the one you're going to pull on. So I believe this is the one that's moving here. So I'm going to hold on to here, to this end, and I'm going to pull out until my ring closes, and then I'm going to pull on my tail so that this loop can go away. I'm going to pull on my tail, this end right here, and that's going to close that up all the way. So now we're going to slip stitch in the first stitch that we made right there. And we're going to chain 2. And in the same space, we're going to make our cluster. Remove 2 off the hook, yarn over, and we're going to do the same thing again. Remove 2 off the hook. So for your first cluster, you're going to have 3 loops on the hook before you remove all of them off the hook. For your second cluster, we're going to also close it up. We're going to seal that cluster with a chain, with a 1 chain. So we're going to yarn over, and in the next stitch you're going to slip your needle in your next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, remove 2 off the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, remove 2 off the hook. So here's 1 and 2. You want 1 more. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull out 2, and you're left with 4 on the hook. Now you can yarn over and you can pull them all out, and then chain 1. So now you have your beginning cluster and you have your second cluster. And we're going to repeat this cluster we just made into our remaining stitches. And now you have 3 clusters. So again, we're going to yarn over, find our stitch, insert the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, remove 2, yarn over, insert the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, remove 2. Now you have 3 on the hook, yarn over, insert the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, remove 2. Now you have 4 on the hook, and you have your 3 stitches for your cluster. These 3 right here, 1, 2, and 3. You yarn over and you pull them all out off the hook, and you seal it with a chain. Yarn over, go into your next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, remove 2, yarn over, insert in the same space, pull up a loop, yarn over, remove 2, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, remove 2. Now you have 4, and now you can finish a cluster. Yarn over and pull all of the stitches off the needle. Chain 1 and begin your next cluster. Yarn over, insert the hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, remove 2, yarn over, insert the hook in the same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, remove 2, there you have 2 already made, yarn over, insert the hook in the same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, remove 2, and now you have 4. Yarn over and remove all 4. So we're going to repeat this in our remaining stitches, and when you finish, you should have 12 clusters, including the first one that you started with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need 6 more. So I'm going to finish my clusters and we're going to come back. I'll meet you back at the end. Okay, so here I have my second cluster that we were finishing up, like this. I have my second cluster finished, and we're going to be doing the larger one now. So what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch at the top of the chain 2, as we did with our previous medallion. We're going to slip stitch up here, and we're going to chain 2 for our first cluster. In the same stitch we're going to yarn over, and in the same stitch we're going to put our cluster, that's our first cluster. We're going to chain 1, and in the same space we're going to put another cluster. And chain 1. So we're going to have 2 clusters in each of these chain 1 spaces. But you have to be aware of, as you go around, we get caught up in making our clusters, and we tend to forget that it's 2 clusters in each space. It happens to me all the time. So I'm going to try to make a mental note to not mess it up, and to make sure I have my 2 clusters in each space, like so. As you go mounting your medallion onto your ring, it's going to start spreading out and stretching, and it's going to show more detail, sort of the way this one is doing. So it looks a little crowded now, but it's going to appear to look like this when you mount it onto your ring. So let's continue, and we're going to continue putting 2 clusters in each chain 1 space. going to continue doing this all the way around. Okay, so I'm coming up on my last cluster, and my cluster space rather, and I'm going to put 2 clusters in the same space. And I'm going to chain 1 at the top of the first cluster that I made. Now if you want to mount your medallion onto the ring with the opposing color, what you can do is, if you want it to look like this, you can leave this thread on. If you don't, then you can finish your slip stitch with the opposing color that you're using, and you can mount it on with that. I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to take out our slip stitch. We're going to finish our slip stitch with this color. We're going to get our ring. Put your loop behind the ring like this. And we're going to finish our slip stitch with the other color. Insert your hook into the loop. And pull. Not quite how I wanted it to come out. Let's try something easier. Let's finish our slip stitch first, and then we can finish our chain 1, your first single crochet. I'm going to put another single crochet in there, and in our next chain space we're going to put our next single crochet and 2 single crochets, and we're going to put 2 single crochets in each space. how we're looking so far. We're going to slide our stitches over. It's going to start getting a little snugged, and as you can see, your medallion is now showing more detail because it's stretched out. Now this little gap right here, we're going to take our blunt needle, and we're going to sort of make a stitch inside here so that it won't be so gappy there. So our brown thread, let's pull it a little bit so that it'll close up some, and then we're going to slip stitch at the top of this chain here. If I could ever get my needle through. It's so tight now that now it's not letting me get my needle through, but we'll get it through. There you go. I don't want this to be, oops, sorry. I don't want this to be so large. I'm going to close it up a bit. And there you have it. So we can do a chain 1 to secure that there. If you want to hide the shiny in here, you can go ahead over it and put 2 single crochets in each one again, the way we did with this one, if you like. Now you can put both of these earrings together like so and make it one large earring, or you can use each one as an individual earring. That's the beauty of it. So this middle here, we're going to pull it, and we're going to make it smaller, and we're going to cut that. That. And with our needle, I'm going to do some sewing. There's our gap right there. So we're going to get rid of this green thread and we're going to tighten our gap with the brown thread. Oops. So our gap here, we're just going to take one end and the other end and sort of just secure it together a little bit. I don't see any problem in leaving it the way it is, but if you don't want that gap to show there, you can just do a little tacking job like this and just weave the thread through. I don't see any future problems with it. Okay, and that's it. We're done. So now we can take our jump ring and our ear wires. I have my pliers here, and it's going to help me to put my jump ring onto the earring. Just slightly open it like that, and slip this through here like this. Gonna add our jump ring, our ear wire, and just close it just as you opened it. And there you go. I like this. I like this too, but I really like the way this one came out. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you come back and watch more easy to crochet videos, and thank you for watching.